NTA International News.
Workers' Day celebration. Organized labor pledges to work with incoming administration to evolve people-oriented policies. Towards early return of displaced persons to their homes, Nigerian government undertakes damage and needs assessment of the insurgent-affected areas. Plus, June 28 declared National Environmental Sanitation Day to boost public health in Nigeria. Hello and welcome to the news. I'm Nancy Munihu. Happy May Day celebrations. The leadership of the organized labor has pledged to work with the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, and the incoming administration to evolve policies that are people-oriented for sustainable development. The pledge was made during the May Day rally held at the Eagle Square, Abuja. Correspondent Emmanuel Animiro reports.
May Day is celebrated every 1st of May all over the world as Workers' Day. Considering the theme of this year, the working class, democratic consolidation and economic revival, charting a way forward to national rebirth, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, leading other affiliate unions, said what Nigerian workers are celebrating is a new Nigeria that is set for a free transition, arising from a peaceful, free and fair 2050 general elections instituted by the outgoing government. While recognizing the contributions of Jonathan administration, the unions, however, regretted that terrorism, unemployment, poor power supply, corruption, among others, are still evident, which the incoming administration must tackle.
As an oil-producing country, we must have functional internal refining capacity so that we can, at the very least, meet up our internal petroleum consumption needs. Government has a responsibility to ensure that the existing refineries work and that new ones are set up.
The incoming government must fashion out effective ways of checking wastages of our resources. The massive theft of our oil, the scandalous incidents of monetary laundering, over-invoicing, double invoicing of contract, dumping on foreign goods, and excessive borrowing, especially on favorable terms, etc., are activities that must be curtailed immediately.
Other unions equally set agenda for the incoming administration.
The workers in Nigeria are involved to a very great extent in the generation of wealth, but the conditions of our living is very, very dismal. And we're expecting that since we have a new government coming, we'll be able to partner with them to start afresh in the area of rebuilding the living standard for Nigerian workers.
Your salary cannot take you home. You can't even do anything because you see our workers, if you go to banks, you see a lot of workers on loan.
President Jonathan, represented by the Minister of Labour, delivered the message of the President to workers.
The attainment of a national vision will not be possible without the dedication, commitment, and work and patriotism of Nigerian workers. It is our joint responsibility collectively.
The central message from the May Day rally is for all Nigerians to work together to consolidate on the democratic gain of President Jonathan administration so as to rebuild the fragile economy. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Now, looking back, since the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914, labor unions have been at the center stage, fine-tuning major policies of government to the benefit of the masses. As workers mark the 2015 May Day, this time correspondent Emmanuel Animiro examines the role of the labor movement in nation building.
The history of labor movement in Nigeria dates back to 1912, when government employees formed the Civil Service Union. Since then, the movement has evolved. From the Michael Imodu-led general strike of railway workers of 1945, Kokori-led Nupeng's anti-June 12 election annulment strike of 1993, incessant ASU strikes, the Oshomole-led strike on fuel price increases and worker welfare, the OMA and Esele-led anti-fuel subsidy removal of 2012, all are examples of protest against government policies by the labor unions. With all these engagements of labor with government, The unions say the movement has been in the struggle for a better society.
There couldn't have been any development without the contribution of workers and trade unions. The Nigerian labor movement or its pioneers have actively participated along with the pioneer politicians in this country, first of all, to fight for our independence, and secondly, they achieved the independence. And apart from that, labor unions and workers are the people who are the producers of everything in the country.
For the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the union leader says ASU has attracted more funding to the universities.
Over the years, we have been able to make significant, progress in terms of university autonomy and academic freedom. The third aspect is getting people to also ensure that the best brains in the country are retained in the country.
The Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and other financial institutions is not left out as the union helped with policy guidelines for a stronger banking system.
Labour constantly sensitizes this regulator to ensure that whatever is needed to keep this bank running at the level they should, is constantly done.
We've participated in the last national conference. We have also been contributing our quota in the transport sector of the economy.
Whatever government decides in its implementation, the way the inputs of labor, they be in the field, in the offices and everywhere to ensure that those good things that were put on paper are translated as the product of that policy. It's kudos to the labor union.
By May 29, a new government is expected to be sworn in. How is the Nigeria Labour Congress, that is now factionalized, going to work with the incoming government?
I've started meeting them, especially the veterans. I've met them about 2 weeks ago to persuade them to come back to the family and let's move Nigeria Labour Movement in Nigeria forward.
Leader and as a present leadership, we are doing everything possible to try to convince our colleagues to see reason why we need to work together and why we need to join hands to be able to defend the interests of Nigerian workers and also build this noble institution.
With the contributions of the movement to nations building, it is believed that labor unions remain a strong platform for the unification and emancipation of Nigerian workers from the oppressive tendencies of their employers. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
And still on May Day, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Solomola Arase, has commended Nigerian workers for conducting themselves peacefully during the just concluded general elections and urged them to report security threats promptly. He made this appeal while identifying with the nation's labor movement on the occasion of May Day celebrations. He also assured workers of efforts to ensure a hate-free celebration. Meanwhile, Vice President-elect Professor Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari administration will tackle headlong critical sectors of the nation's economy for Nigerians to feel the impact of governance. Correspondent Anthony Forsen reports that the Vice President-elect stated this in a lecture he delivered at a platform organized by Covenant Christian Center in Abuja. Here is the report.
Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who x-rayed the state of the nation, was emphatic that the Buhari administration will tackle the issue of corruption headlong, saying there will be no sacred cows.
General Buhari again, who said that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. And I think that that is true because perhaps the major problem with the way our country is run is because some people want to run it for private profit. And that is so for a vast majority of those who find themselves, especially in positions where they can control what approvals are given, what things are given. So many people look at public office in particular as opportunities for corruption, but that is the same also in the private sector. We need to deal with it. We need to deal with this issue very seriously.
On power, education, health, employment and wealth creation, Professor Osinbajo noted that emphasis will be placed on these sectors given their critical role to national growth and development.
21st century work skills are what are required today. We need certain skills. Anyone who goes to school today, from primary school all the way up to university, ought to be equipped to be able to deal with the challenges that we're seeing in this century. Challenges of technology. People ought to be trained properly from when they're young. Critical thinking, numeracy skills, strong numeracy skills.
The Vice President-elect, however, assured Nigerians that their administration will be driven by equity, justice and fairness. Other speakers at the forum equally called on Nigerians to look inwards and be positive. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And for effective lawmaking, legislators-elect for the 8th Assembly have been advised to embark on their new assignment at the National Assembly with due diligence, integrity, and professionalism. Deputy Speaker, Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who is also the chairman, organizing body of a 5-day induction certificate course for the new legislators, gave the charge the presentation of certificates to the legislators-elect. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Odaginleye reports.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu lauded the initiative by the management of the National Institute for Legislative Studies to organize such a program, saying that it has given the new lawmakers a solid foundation on which to build. I also expect that you will continue to benefit from the capacity building programs organized by NELS. I'm aware that the Institute has in its 2015 work plan several follow-up training programs that are more detailed and specialized. The legislators-elect highlighted what they have gained from the 5-day induction certificate course.
The whole process was wonderful, quite academic. There was no dull moment at all because all the resource persons were outstanding.
I believe that my journey in the upper chamber is just like a continuity and to be more advanced in legislature.
It's like a little seminar before the job itself, and then why most of it will be learning on the job itself.
The topic has today helped us to understand what constituency projects are all about, and most importantly, the legislative aids, their primary functions and all that.
Learning is not just only reading the books, you also have to relate to others, see if we can come together. Collective effort is what can make Nigeria.
The Deputy Senate President, supported by the Director General NILS, Dr. Ladi Hamalai, presented certificates to a cross-section of legislators-elect. From the International Conference Center, Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
The federal government is undertaking damage and needs assessments of the insurgent-affected areas in the northeast to facilitate the early return of the displaced persons back to their homes. To carry out this national task is a committee headed by the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Abdul Bulama, and officials of the National Emergency Management Agency. Defense correspondent Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports.
The committee has visited affected communities in Yobe State. They include Gujba, Buniyadi, Katarko, Gaidam, Fika, Potiskum, and Damaturu, which suffered varying degrees of damages while being occupied by the insurgents. The committee also met with the Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Abubakar Ali, and the Acting Commander, 27th Task Force Brigade, Damaturu, Colonel Usman Yusuf, and conveyed the appreciation of the federal government. The Minister of Science and Technology-led committee also conveyed the determination of the federal government to resettle the returning IDPs to the traditional rulers and community leaders. In Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. When we return, more news and sports update. Stay on the news. Moving on to health matters now. Nigeria is to begin a vaccine trial against Ebola with the setting of 2 clinical research centers in the country. The facility, which is the joint project of the Nigerian Ministry of Defense and the United States Department of Defense, is to study and build on the findings of the Phase 1 trials of the Ebola vaccine. Defense correspondent KG Busari Ahmed reports.
Nigeria may have been declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization, but the country, through its military, is not relenting on its effort to prevent future outbreak. Hence, the launch of 2 clinical research centers in the country.
As a further demonstration of the confidence in the program, the ministry is considering the establishment of Ebola containment facilities to be made up of about 5 military healthcare facilities located in different geopolitical zones of the country.
The Director General, Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program, Major General Life Ajemba, said the selection of the clinical trial centers was a competitive process.
The Nigerian and U.S. militaries are collaborating to facilitate the development of preventive measures for Ebola virus disease, with emphasis on production of a safe and effective Ebola virus disease vaccine for use in the general populace.
The U.S. government's investment in health in Nigeria, if you add up what all U.S. agencies are doing on all of the health issues here, it totals into one of our largest health programs anywhere in the world.
This is one of the 2 sites where the vaccine study is scheduled to take place in Nigeria. The other site being the Jos University Teaching Hospital.
The Clinical Research Center has commenced the enrollment of 300 volunteers nationwide to participate in the study. In Abuja, KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
Health reports the federal government has inaugurated an interministerial National Environmental Sanitation Committee to ensure the security of sound public health in Nigeria. Minister of Environment Laurentia Malam, who inaugurated the committee, said June 28 has been set aside every year as the National Environmental Sanitation Day. Mia Ogidi in this report takes a retrospective look at the policy and its benefits.
The rapid population growth without commensurate provision of infrastructure and services in Nigeria has led to poor environmental sanitation, characterized by increased urban slums, overstretched sanitary facilities, generation of enormous waste, and the reduction in the quality of life of the people. The resultant effect of this is the prevalence of communicable diseases. To tackle this national challenge, the then military government introduced the National Environmental Sanitation Day in 1983 to 1984, as well as the civilian government in 2005. But this laudable policy is yet to be imbibed as a culture by the citizenry. So, the inauguration of this fresh committee is to review and update the 2005 policy on national environmental sanitation.
The cross-cutting dimension of environmental sanitation issues and the magnitude of the problems call for collective responsibility for the country.
For the committee members, they will put in their best to ensure that the policy stands the test of time, unlike the previous ones.
What we need to do now is to actually imbibe this thing as a culture within our people.
When that policy was produced, there was nothing about electronic waste. Healthcare waste was not mentioned. So I expect the committee to also see what we can do to bring such issues.
The immediate task before this committee is to identify the state and activities for the 2015 National Environmental Sanitation Day by June 28. In Abuja, Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
The Nigerian government has been urged to fund all tiers of government to support the improvement of childcare system. This was part of the recommendation of the Save Our Soul SOS Children's Village Nigeria at the meeting in Abuja under the theme Care for Me. Fatima Aliyu reports.
We are not asking for much, just love us, acknowledge us as your responsibility. Show us the way to follow towards becoming useful members of society. Remember that the quality of care you give to us will determine the quality of our collective future.
Stephen Iniade, one of the pupils of over 80,000 children raised across the world by SOS Children's Village, summing up the essence of the campaign. The plight of Stephen epitomizes the fate of millions of children all over the world, including Nigeria. This forms the basis for the recommendations that adequate information and training are provided on the Child Rights Act and its regulations to facilitate its widespread implementation, particularly in the states that are yet to adopt the Act. National Director, SOS Village Nigeria, Egusa Erunwose, also urged Nigerian government and other alternative care providers to make available preventive services to avoid children being unnecessarily removed from their families.
It should provide support to stakeholders to ensure that adequate data is collected on all children provided with alternative care. It should improve budget allocations at both the federal and state level.
And the report is comprehensive, and if they follow the recommendations, I'm sure that in the next 2, 3, 4 years that the approach, the attitude of the average Nigerian agency, family to care for the Nigerian child would be different.
Civil society, we are encouraged to take the lead in using advocacy directed at government to ensure adequate resources are provided for alternative care and the rights of children are protected in all states. Various stakeholders also expressed their resolve to key into the recommendations. SOS International was founded in Austria in 1949 by Eman Gimner, a philanthropist, to build families for children, particularly those orphaned by war, and was established in Nigeria in 1973. In Abuja, Fatima Aliyu, NTA News.
Now to happenings outside Nigeria. Freddie Gray's death has been ruled as homicide, and 6 Baltimore police officers charged. Arrests rise in Burundi protests as protesters vow to remain in the streets. And towns and villages near Nepal earthquake suffer almost total devastation. Details with Uche Wizu.
The State Attorney Marilyn Mosby said a warrant has been issued for the arrest of 6 police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray. She said her office's investigation and a medical examination proved that Freddie's death was a homicide.
Gray's death was a homicide, which we received today, has led us to believe that we have probable cause
of the National Sports Commission, Al-Hassan Yakmut, to make staff welfare priority as the Nigerian National League gives clubs 2 weeks grace to start the 2014-2015 season. These are more on Sports Update with Ayodeji Makinde.
Newly appointed Acting Director General of the National Sports Commission, Al-Hassan Yakmut, has assured staff of the Commission that their welfare will be made top priority. In an interactive session on Thursday, Yakmut pledged that training as enunciated by government policy will be given priority attention. The Nigerian National League Limited expects airing club sites to fulfill the requirements of registration for the 2014-2015 league season after the kickoff was postponed for 2 weeks.
The appeals from those clubs is that they should be given a little time to assess their governments for funding. I don't know whether 2 weeks will be enough, but the league has to start.
Hostilities will begin this weekend in the Elite Nigeria Women League as Delta Queens face Confluence Queens. Osun Babes will host Ibom Angels. FC Robo will confront Bayelsa Queens as Edo Queens welcome Nasarawa Amazons. Meanwhile, African Women Footballer of the Year Azizat Oshuala is also in a short list of 5 to claim the 2015 BBC Women Footballer of the Year award. The past year has been nothing short of a fairy tale for the former FC Robo player who won all the individual accolades of the Canada 2014 Women's Under-20 World Cup.
I think it's a very good thing for women's football. It would really help us, encourage us more to do a lot of things.
Away from football, undefeated Floyd Mayweather says against his usual game plan, he's going to come out swinging and be the aggressor early against Manny Pacquiao when they meet in Saturday's super fight in Las Vegas.
And with the sports update, we wrap up the news. Thank you for watching. Happy May Day celebrations once again.